Well, I got this red Craftsman working pretty good the other day. Yeah, that was the other day. I haven't fired it up yet. Let's see if it'll actually run. Alright, it's still working pretty good. So I got this one going. I was kind of thinking I should turn it into something of a workhorse because I don't really have a use for it at the moment, but I was thinking maybe I'd put a little drag on it, build a little drag for it, which would be cool, and mount it to the back and figure out a way to hook it to the lever to lift it up and down and all that stuff. But that's not really useful right now. I don't know if you can hear it out there, but it's raining, or sleeting really, and blowing like crazy. So I was thinking maybe I'd put a plow on the front of it, rig up something. I'd have to make a plow, but I figured I'd head out to the scrapyard and well, my scrapyard, and see if I had anything handy that I could just rig up a quick plow out of. Well, pretty nasty out here. Let's get to the truck and fire that thing up, and I gotta dump off them weed whips that are in the back anyway. Guess I'll find out how good my little wind blocker thing is. Whew, nasty out there. There we go. That's good enough for me. Let her warm up a bit and then we'll head out there. Well, I've got some random metal pieces I found. I got some angle pieces from a bed frame. I figured that might be good to make the actual plow part out of. I've got a piece of tin in the truck. It's a pretty flimsy tin, but if we can make a structure that'll hold up with that and the lawnmower blades, we can put the tin on it just as a place to collect the snow. And I don't have too many big pieces of iron to make the front bracket out of, but I got that little guy there. And I got this big hunk of angle that's all bent up, but it's good from about this point back. So I think I'll lop that off and probably start on some sort of a bracket for the front of this thing with that. I think that should work. We'll just kind of make it as we go. Well, I've got the first couple of angle pieces cut. They're not pretty by any means, but they'll sit something like here. They're pretty sturdy, so I think they'll hold up. Pretty thick stuff. Probably overkill, but whatever. So I think I'll sit them on like this. I'll take out this bolt and actually run it in from the top, and I'll just remove this bolt because it's not holding anything. Drill a couple more holes there, put some bolts in, and I'm gonna have to clean up that cut there so that fits, but yeah, it's a start. Well, I've got the brackets just kind of bolted into place here. I don't have any more bolt holes drilled or bolts put in yet. I'm just trying to kind of figure out how exactly I want to do it. I'm thinking I'll probably end up taking a lawnmower blade because that piece of angle isn't really the best. I'm going to take a lawnmower blade and put her across the front like that, cut off the ends, weld it down, and then take another one, a longer one than this, I suppose, and kind of box it in there in the front. And then I'll have a spot to put my pivot. I've been thinking about that too. I may have to drop the pivot down lower because if the pivot's up here, it's going to want to push the tractor up. But I'll put this on anyway, this part here, and I can add on sides later and drop it down if I need to. But for now, that's what I'm going to do. So I guess I'll clean this up, cut it up, and see if I can weld her on, because my welder is a pretty big pile of crap. So we'll see what happens. Well, I got that piece welded on, and if I may say so myself, those are some pretty dang ugly welds. Part of that's just me just sucking at welding, but the other part's my welder. At one point that hose that feeds the wire got kinked, so it kind of feeds and then stops, and nothing's smooth, so it's really hard to run any kind of bead. You pretty much get a bunch of little tiny stitch welds. So, but it's on there. I don't think it's going anywhere, so I'm gonna grab that other piece that I just cut, another blade, and clean her up and weld it right to the front here. and hopefully that'll make it fairly strong. Well, I've got this thing goober welded together, and I've been looking at it and just kind of thinking how it's all going to work. And if I put the brackets here, that's a pretty steep angle for a little piece of metal. So I kind of want to get this lower, and I was thinking of a few ways I could do it. And one way would be to take this off, because I haven't drilled the sides yet, and just flip it over so it hangs off the bottom rather than bolting to the top. And that would give me a little better angle, I think, on the bottom, because I could make these brackets that I put on the bottom as low as I want. And I think that might work better. So I think what I'm going to do is just unbolt this and flip it over and see if it'll fit underneath, and then see how it goes from there. See, this is why I do things in little pieces and then look at it so I can change it up. But we'll flip it over and see what it looks like. Alright, well, mounting it out upside down is not going to work. These are about 1/4 inch too wide to clear the muffler inside there, so it won't slide in. And the other thing I thought of is if I drill holes in the side of it, there's no good way with the muffler in the way to get my hand in there to put nuts on the bolts, so that's not going to work. But I did think of something else when I had it flipped over. Rather than mount the brackets on the front here, I could put them inside this little pocket when it's upside down, and then I can lower them, essentially have them as tall as I want, to bring the angle of that down to where I want it, and I think that'll work good. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I think I'm gonna call it for tonight because it's my day off, but start again probably tomorrow. I'll tinker with it a little bit and see if we can't get it along a little further. Well, I know I said I was gonna call it a night, but I came back out here and I made up some brackets that'll hang off the bottom of this thing, and of course I started welding. It's all crappy welds, and then all of a sudden I must have had the gun turned just right, and you can see the very last little bit there. It's actually a halfway decent weld right there. It's very small, you can't really see it, but yeah. So I think I'm probably gonna have to get a new liner for this thing so that the wire actually feeds smoothly and not start and stop and shaking around and finally get it to go again, and it's a real pain to try to do that. So I figured I'd just let you know I get a new one of them at some point, and I got that welded up. I'm actually amazed I can stick 2 pieces of metal together with this thing. But it's not all me, some of it's the gun.